It's not very often you get a chance to spend a bit of time with a top 100 golf professional to have a little look at your game. Well, in today's video, we're going to be looking at some course management tips. We're at the beautiful Berkshire Golf Club. We're out on the blue course here today, and I'm playing with Mitchell Spearman. Well, Mitchell goes under the radar, but within the golf world, he's very well known. Worked with some of the best golfers in the world, come out of David Ledbetter School back in the 90s, and today we're going to be going out on the golf course to get some course management tips from Mitchell. Let's go and catch up with him on the first tee. Right, first hole then, Mitchell.
Yep.
I've got 216 to the middle. The pin's basically in the middle of this green. 216 for me. I'm kind of thinking 202 to the front of the green.
Yep.
Winds a little bit out of the right today.
Yep.
I'm thinking kind of something that's going to land maybe just on the front, 205, and then release up towards the hole. Anything that jumps out to you when it comes to this hole to get us going with?
Well, Dan, yeah, a tough opening hole, long par 3, 200-yard golf shot, but it's a big green, which is great. Green flags right in the middle. You say wind's coming a little bit out the right, which is fine.
Yep.
If you're going to miss a green of this note, you really want to have, what's the easiest chip, and that would generally tend to be a little bit uphill. But having said that, it's pretty flat around here, and if you did miss it on the left side there, you'd be chipping back into the wind. Yep. Obviously, if you miss it right, you almost have a blind chip shot coming up there. So I think it's a shot. I'd take it at the flag and let it finish on the left side if you do.
I'm thinking something like my 5-wood, which is almost going to carry.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
15 club. Yeah. I think if I try and batter a 3-iron, that might clamber to 200.
Yeah. And I think that's right. If this was the 10th hole of a round and we'd played and warmed up and you knew your ball trajectory, you might nail there and just nail the 3-iron and get a little bit of run out of it. I think 5-wood is good. It's a big green. They look like they're receiving the ball well out here because of the colour of them. They look soft. So I don't think that's a bad play at all. I think that's great. Oh, beautiful golf swing.
I mean, to be fair, I wasn't expecting to flush it like that off the first tee.
That was a beautiful golf shot. You nailed it. And, good players like you with good ball speed, it's amazing how minimal the ball curves because of the wind, right? The speed of the ball is so great. So just at the end when it's slowing down, it just curved a little bit and fell to the left. That was a great golf swing. Great shot.
Just run on through. I suppose the good thing about this miss is I've got loads of green to work with.
Yeah, exactly, which is what, again, we talk, and you sort of a little back into the wind, loads of green to work with. You can see your target. So how do you see the shot? Dan, what is it you see?
So I've got a nice lie.
Yep.
Grass is laying with me, which is good.
Yep.
So it doesn't feel like it's going to get snagged up.
Yep.
Chip shot. I kind of want to eliminate all of this. So I'm thinking something like a sand wedge, 54-degree wedge is what I carry into around this area and then let it release for the rest of the hole.
And the ball below your feet, does that do anything to you? Does that make you feel like you're going to compress it a little more, a little less? Is there anything about the ball being below your feet there at address?
So for me, I maybe move my swing path just a smidgen, just to feel like I'm almost like coming across it a little bit.
Okay.
Out and across, just because I don't want it snagging in.
Okay.
As I'm coming across the shot. So I'm definitely by that making sure I get a little bit almost like steeper on it.
And then let me ask you this before you hit the shot. If you want to place a ball around the hole outside of 3 feet, inside of 6 feet, is there anywhere in particular you'd like it to be?
I don't want it running away from me.
Okay.
Because I think that obviously if it gets going too far, then you've got to run off beyond the pin.
Yep.
And I know that's maybe a little bit of a negative thought, but probably just a fraction short.
So a little short, maybe a little right,
yeah.
Be up the hill. Okay,
Nice
perfect. All right, that's good. I think that's an important thing to always have in picture in your mind, kind of where that run out's going to be.
It's actually come out a little low, a little left as it's popped out of there.
Yeah, but really good distance, good strike. That's well played, very well played. Yeah, it just stayed straight, didn't it? There was no break on that at all. And you go back here to, it would be nice to have a 2 feet tap in. As it turns out, you got a 4-foot putt, right? 4.5 feet putt. That's sort of okay from a 200-yard long golf hole, and that's what you want to get into perspective, right? That perspective of what it is. You make a good putt, you're going to knock it in, and you made your 3. So I think we keep doing the take on this one so he makes it, right?
You've seen our channel before then?
No, but I just figured that's what we're going to do, right?
Just a little bit of wiggle off that left side.
Yeah, looks like it just a little bit, yeah.
Left edge, left half.
Yeah, that's what I see, yeah.
Depending on pace.
Yeah. Yeah, great putt, good. You know, on a hole like this, Dan, the architect's not going to really create that much slope on the green because it's already a tough hole, so he's not going to come on here and do something too quirky. So you were right to read that that putt was generally going to be inside the hole, and I think anything inside of 6 feet on this particular hole is probably going to be inside the hole, maybe even 8 feet. I mean, it's a relatively flat thing, and that's how you made your putt. Good. Yeah, it's a beautiful shape. Yeah, nice strike, good flight. Gonna get a little bit of chase out of that one. That was great. Closer to the green, you know, the pin is a little bit on the front side of the green. We would have actually had a more difficult chance of being able to stop it. Here, we've got ourselves enough distance that you should be able to get a reasonable amount of spin to stop it. So I think it was a good decision that we made as far as the distance we wanted to leave it. You know, I think even if you got yourself awkwardly down there on one of those slopes in the bunker, so I think this is probably not a bad play.
My thought process here is obviously we've got the front portion of this green. I feel like the green really starts to probably about 4 or 5 paces up, where it starts to level out a little bit. I almost like get the sense that being just past the flag to the right leaves myself just maybe a little bit of an uphill putt, rather than playing around with that front edge too much.
So what a lot of players look at right now is what we call the pizza shot. So you have a pie around the green, and what you want to do is be in the triangle part of the pie, which is the least amount of break, which is the uphill, and you've identified that as being the right side. So if we were on the left side of this, we would be outside the pie, and we would be downhill breaking putt. So you want to get yourself in that quadrant of the pizza shape. Yeah,
that's a great way of, and even now I'm visualising that bit of the pie.
That's right, so you can see. So then your target becomes that side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What was your yardage?
Yardage, I got 60 to the middle. What have we got? 56 yards.
Okay.
Well, I don't think landing it too far away from that number is too bad. I think into this slight bit of breeze, it's going to stop pretty quickly when it lands.
And you play with a 60?
I've got 58.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, for the UK, 58's fine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, good shot. Yeah. So what you did, interestingly there for me, is you didn't make practice swings to judge the feel of the distance of the shot. You just went in and did it, which is great, and you did it very well. I think a lot of people might want to think a little bit about practice motion and getting the feel for the distance a little bit more. Sometimes, so if you go ahead and just take your setup there for me, Dan. So if I was to say to you, right, hit this one, but so you were 55, hit it 40 just to the front. Give me a practice swing like that. Okay, let's go 75, hit it a little bit further. Okay, now go 55, 60, which is what it is. Sometimes that's an idea for people to just get a gauge, a sense, a little short, a little more, a little less. Right, so we know we've got an uphill putt. Probably break a little bit from right side, I would say, from here, and we can tell that, because the one thing we know in golf is there's always an uphill point to the green. Everything to the right of that's right to left, everything to the left of that is left to right. So we kind of always know that. That's the general rule of thumb. And so before we even get behind the ball, we could probably bet there's going to be an uphill slightly right to left putt. So actually the right to left putt would probably be from here. The straight uphill putt's here. So this one might be even a hair this way. Do you see that? So that's kind of how you work it out, right? The straight uphill putt's probably here.
If anything, I feel like I've hit the start of the pizza line is kind
exactly
of like,
absolutely, you're in the quadrant where if we hit it on this side, you know, this is a very difficult putt statistically to make. You know, you're going to make 2 to 1, 3 to 1 ratio from here to compared to here, and so just knowing that going in was worth it.
I think this ball's afraid of the dark, you know.
Yeah.
290, see the sort of heathery stuff on the left? 293 to there. So I think it's centre stripe, isn't it?
Yeah, I would take it just right of centre stripe inside of that tree. See the tree there? So I would just take it inside of that.
Yeah, I like that.
Good strike. Yeah, nice kick. That was good.
Friendly bounce.
Yeah. Very nice. What we got here?
I've got 203 yards to that flag.
All right.
I feel like the wind is maybe just a little out of the right.
Yeah, I can't really see exactly where the flag is in relation to the green. It looks like, you know, really this looks like a really good long par 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can't tell how much of it is a par 3 green. It might be slightly downhill there at the very end. Yeah, 203. So it's very similar to you know, to the tee shot you hit on the first. You know, the question is, do you want to, you know, nail the 3-iron and chase it in there, or we know we can hit 5-wood and into this wind? What did you land at? You hit it 220?
I think it went about 220, yeah.
So you hit it 220, so you can hit it 15 paces past the flag. You know, the wind might knock 5 of those off, so, you know, it's however you feel comfortable.
I feel like a lot of the golf course ends behind the
Yep.
the hole.
Yep.
And I also think, like, maybe even just chasing a 3-iron that's going to land sort of 185 to 190 at a push into this breeze.
Yeah.
It might just skip on.
Yeah, I like that. There's nothing we have to carry, so, you know, the lower the iron that can have a bit of chase, probably a good play. Nice strike, get a little kick out of it. Yeah, good shot.
Floated a little.
Yeah, it'll float it, but lovely strike. Stayed with that. Good swing. Most long par 4s greens would look like this, very long, very flat, nothing to stop the entry. More than the par 5 green. Par 5 green would have more slope, maybe a 2-tier that makes it hard for the wedge shot. So this is, you know, in fairness, a par 4. You've hit a really good shot. Yeah, just chased on through.
Lots of green to work with. I've not got massive slopes to deal with.
Most importantly, the grain's not going against you, so nothing is working against you. You know, the cut of this is still very tight round here. I think in the winter, when a little soggier, you know, it would just be such a slow putt that it would be such a slow putt, and it would be so easy to stop the ball close to the hole because the moisture would stop it. But I think from here, putter's the way to go. Yeah, what a great putt. There you go. Stress V4. Good. You know, really set up by the tee shot. You had to be in the fairway to then make it happen, and you did that. You had a good tee ball. Really good.
Par 3, slightly up the hill.
Yeah.
156 yards to that flag. I get the sense that this is kind of like a bit of a dangerous pin to be firing at. A bit of a dangerous green almost.
It does look like there's some little slope there, a little elevated green. Now you've got the left to right wind, which is always a trickier wind. We haven't had one of them. So wind out off the left shoulder. You know, we either don't commit to it and you leak it right, or you go like this and you pull them left, right? And so it's a good wind to play, and recognizing that we're changing direction here on the golf course. So what was the number again?
156 to the flag. It kind of it feels like I want to get it into that front right portion of the green there. So anything starting maybe just left of flag and letting it drift just past the flag to the right.
Yep.
Is not a bad shout. To the front of the green I got 130.
Okay, so what's your 150 club?
My 150 club is probably an 8-iron.
Okay.
Which I kind of like today with that temperature and everything.
I want you committed to this because you've already said it's 125 or so to the front of the green.
Exactly.
So, you know, you hit this 142, it's not going to be the end of the world. Come on, Win. Didn't want to move, just stayed right there. On the back of this green was obviously severe, and we knew that we would be in less trouble if we were in the 130 to 150 zone, which is what we did. You know, if we'd have had the wind, we'd have been here, which is fine. So it was an in-between club, but most often on a round of golf, I don't know if you find this, Dan, that you don't actually have the exact yardage, the exact club to get to the flag. You're either going to be too long or too short. In this example, 8 was going to be too short, but it was the right play, and 7 was just going to bring in too much. We've got a little challenging putt here.
It's a kind of double breaker.
Yep.
It's going to come up from the right-hand side here,
Yep.
get to the top, and
Yep.
almost like want to try and fall to the right as it gets over the top of that hill there. So I'm just feeling as an aim point, getting it, almost like want to get it here,
Yep.
and then let it fall from there. So it's how I navigate to that point early. Not quite got it high enough there.
Yeah, didn't quite get it high enough. One suggestion I would have had for you, I would have for all golfers, yourself included, would be quite often it's worth walking behind the hole on these longer putts. When the ball is at its slowest is when it's influenced the most, and I would have maybe just walked back here a little bit more, so you could have sort of see that it kind of, once it gets over the hill, it does flatten out quite a bit, so there's not quite as much speed coming off the hill as perhaps you see.
Yeah,
so
sure.
always not a bad idea to do that. I noticed you did it on the chip shot, funny enough, on the first hole we played, the par 3, you walked up to the flag and did that, but you didn't do it on a putt, and I think you should give it the same. Yeah, I try to make it a habit when I get to a green to actually always get to a green and go up to the hole and start my process from the hole backwards. Good roll. Very good roll.
I probably favoured the left half too much.
Yeah, just I think you did. I think it was straight, and you actually then favoured the left half. Yeah, yeah.
Fifth hole then. 330 yards off this back tee. So
Okay.
It's not the longest hole in the world,
No.
but there's enough danger out there to sort of make you think of it, isn't there?
Well, it's a dogleg to the left. There's an inside bunker on the left-hand side, which probably isn't in play because it's only maybe 200 to carry, 180, 200. But what really is the interesting part is the overhanging trees here. I mean, they actually start on the tee. You can see lots of divots on the tee here, which tell us that people do hit long irons maybe off the tee. We think the wind was probably a little left to right on that last hole, but right to left on the last hole, but it didn't really move.
Yeah.
So work backwards. So 130. I don't like driver because if you hit it straight, you're going to go through the fairway, right? So we eliminate driver.
What I've got here is it's saying that if I get it out there at 225, it leaves me 100 yards.
Yep.
Which is ideal. If I go back to that bunker, yes, it's 230 to carry that trap on the.
Is it? As far as that, is it?
In that section there.
So the trap's in play.
Trap's in play.
And you're trying to hit it parallel to that on the right.
Yes.
Well, we know what your 215 to 220 club is.
5-wood.
Yep.
Yep.
I like 5-woods because they draw. I think a little draw on this. If anything, their tendency is to want to draw.
Yep.
I like that because I think you can aim it on the darker side of the fairway and finish on the middle cut line. Yeah, lovely. Good shot. Nice play.
Just held on, didn't it? That one?
Very good.
Wanting to turn on it.
Yeah, but nice swing.
I think what's helping for me is because we're talking through it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting pictures in my brain as to exactly the types of shots that I'm trying to hit. I can almost visualize it, whereas maybe when I'm on my own, not discussing this, I'm just focusing too much on the swing sometimes. Yeah,
I think that's right. And I think, God, I mean, if anyone is over obsessed about a golf swing, it's golf teachers, and I'm one of them, right? So when I'm out here, it's, you know, it's 3 practice swings every shot, and it's whatever. I'm watching you. It's like stand out there, look at the target, and go. It's like that's my dream, is to play like that, right? So yes, I think that, you know, we find out what we are, and I've seen, you know, with you, it's like there's not really a practice stroke, there's not really a practice swing, there's not a practice thing. You just need to see a picture and play to it, and you're very much that sort of golfer. You know, the conversations we're having about the holes and whatever, it's really to think them through, because they were designed by an architect to play in a certain way, and, you know, it's to think through, how does one play this, what is that there, you know, we feel the shelteredness of the wind now, we're out in the exposure, that bunker was beautifully placed, the trees are hanging in there off the left side, and so you want to get that picture.
77 to carry the bunker, it's 91 yards to that flag, so that flag is pretty much centre though.
Okay.
Wind just slightly into out the left?
Slightly into, not sure the direction, but...
No, I think you're right, it's more into than out the left. So I'm going 54-degree wedge.
Okay, how far does that go normally?
It normally carries around 105.
Okay.
I'm going to grip down on it slightly.
Okay.
Take a little bit out of it.
Got it.
And hopefully maintain. It should go then around that sort of 100.
Okay. And have you calculated what for the wind?
I'd probably calculate about 10 yards.
Okay.
The wind.
So it's 90 and there's 100, that goes 105, so you're taking 5 off.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so to me, that ball position, just stay right there for me 1 second, Dan. I feel the ball position is too forward of, so if we're relating it to your feet, but if I just relate it to your spine, you can see your low point in your sternum is here, and you've got the ball, 2 balls forward of that.
Definitely.
So I would narrow your stance to start with. I think you could then, as a result, probably put a little more weight on the left side, and now that is a completely different position to be able to trap it. So you've already got 55-60% of the weight on your left side. You've narrowed your stance, so you've got what I would call more of a single axis swing, and so now the club is going to work down into the ball, and you're going to be able to trap it and get the ball on the face. It's like that ball just skidded on the face as opposed to being really squeezed on the face. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's
almost a bit lofty. And
wafty. Exactly. So I'd get you there at address.
Yeah.
And then you can
even for a shot that's 100 yards.
Yeah, even for a shot that's I think wedges are, right? Because, you know, in a wedge shot, the shaft is so much more upright. You're not therefore going to get such a deep golf swing. So if you're not going to get deep, you're not going to get into your right heel. So on those shots, you're basically your center and your center of your pressure is moved so minimally to it's moved so minimally, therefore there's nothing to move it back. That's why you have to start it left, so it's always going to be left. Because if it's just there, then it's 50-60% here, and there's nothing for me there to get to the left side, because I'm not right enough to go left, and I'm not left enough to be there. So you've got to start it there, so it is there. Right, that's the key. You've got to start it there, so it is there.
Now the issue that I've got is what I'm thinking about is, do I putt this, or do I eliminate this slope and take it a little bit higher and get it up on top of that slope there?
I think this is a lot of slope here to putt to putt up. The grain's a little more right to left, a bit thicker than where we putted off the last hole, which 2 holes back, the par 5. It's it's uphill, as you said. You were downhill the other side, so pretty easy chip to get this close because it's uphill and soft. I think it's a little pitch shot.
I do. I got my 58-degree wedge.
Okay. So I'm going to pull you up there and say that 58 uphill, if we were downhill 58 all day long, uphill less loft to let the ball run out. Yeah. So I'd have gone for 54 and not 58 because the hill's going to do the work for you. Yeah, the rule of thumb for me is when you're pitching down the hill more loft, up the hill less loft. You're definitely uphill here. Yeah. Got a lovely tight lie, beautiful clean new wedges with lots of spin. And that's doing the work. Now you've hit that a little steamy, but doing the work. Yeah. Maybe 1 degree more open in the face would have cut it down.
Yeah, just pour it up a little bit on there.
Yeah, that's what I'd have done. So I would, even though you've hit that bar, I preferred that and how much easier the ball ran itself out.
And it had a chance of going in.
It had a chance of going in, yeah.
See, I think of it like green light moments. Green light, orange light, red light.
Johnny Miller style.
Yeah, but like, when somebody's got a wedge in their hand from 100 yards, when does it turn into green light?
When there's, good question. So 100 yards, let's say you're going to hit it within 10% of your target, which is 10 yards. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 6 yards, right? 6% there was trouble. So that's really the shot you hit. You hit a shot that was 7% offline, and you got yourself in trouble. That's bad course management. So our flag, really, our target should have been here, because now we can go 10 yards all around and we're absolutely safe. And I think that's pretty fair odds. You want to get to 5% really at some point, depending on how well you're playing, where you are in the tournament, what you're trying to do. Then yes, the 5% would have been a 15-foot circle. You weren't that far. You were 20 feet from your target and you missed the green in a very difficult position. So therefore your target wasn't the correct target. It's kind of brutal. It's brutal, but it's true. It's like.
Again, I've never thought of it like that. Never ever looked at it in those
Yeah,
ways.
yeah.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed that video as much as I've enjoyed it being out on the golf course with Mitchell. He is an absolute class act when it comes to understanding the game of golf, understanding how to get around the golf course. So many little tips that I can take from that, and I hope you can too. A big thank you to Mitchell, a big thank you to the Berkshire Golf Club for allowing us out here today. It's a wonderful venue. Please check it out in the link down below. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying this content, and I'll see you again very soon.